All righty. Thanks for joining us. Today, we are going to be talking about 4 clues your marketing agency is basically ripping you off. This has gotten a lot of attention because in a lot of our strategy sessions, this does come up because clients come from really bad experiences. And actually, within the strategy session, we kind of give them advice. So I wanted to kind of make this a little more public. So you guys, if you do have a marketing agency right now, and if they're doing great for you, then wonderful. But if you have a weird suspicion that things aren't really working out the way that they were promised, then maybe these clues will help you today. And today I have a guest with me as well. His name's Saad. He's our main media buyer for Awkward Media. Say hi, Saad.
Hi, everyone.
So Saad's going to actually help in a few different ways. So since he's our media buyer, he's going to actually go into the back end of Facebook ads and Google ads while we give these clues, and he's going to show you specifically how to look for those clues coming up. So we'll start right here. So let's go with clue number one. Okay. So clue number one, Saad, I have, by month 3, your results have either like stagnated, or instead of getting better, or instead of improving, or they've actually declined. And in my opinion, and I don't know, maybe you could talk about this a little better, but real marketing campaigns, they actually get better with age as you learn more about the customer's behavior. You learn about what ads are actually working, and you figure out which funnel is actually working. So traditionally, you have a big spike when you start your ads, and then it stagnates, but over time it's supposed to actually get better, and your cost per conversions and cost per sale is actually supposed to be optimized, supposed to drop. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. At least that's the promise that most agency owners give to their prospects or their clients. They say things like month 3, month 4, you're going to start seeing really good results and it's going to drop the cost per conversion. And that's really what's promised. And that is what should happen. But that's a telltale sign. If that's not what's happening, the media buyer or the agency you're working with would probably stop working. And the reason why these ads just naturally start going down is because the actual creatives or the actual ads start atrophying, like they go through a fatigue process. So because the creatives are being the same creatives, or the same ads are being shown over and over again to the same audience, the audience resonates less and less with them. That's why you see big brands like Coca-Cola, like every month or every 6 months, they're coming out with same product typically. I mean, yes, they may have new additions, but they're always coming out with new creatives and copy. This is what the agency owner promises, right? They're like, hey, we're going to continually improve and do XYZ. But typically what ends up happening is like they get you some good results in the beginning, if even that, and then naturally ads atrophy. And they're like, we're kind of done our job. We're just going to continue billing month over month.
Yeah, and that's a pretty strong point, because I think what the tendency is for some agencies is that they get the new client, and they do that initial hard work on your ad campaigns, but by month 2, month 3, they've booked more clients. So because they're so grossly mismanaged, sometimes they don't hire new staff. They don't reinvest that cash into kind of hiring more resources and expanding the team, and maintaining that quality or that standard that they're used to in 1 month, or the first month, or the second month. Um, yeah, I think that's bang on. But all right, so let's move on to clue number 2. Um, just to kind of check if you might be getting ripped off by your marketing agency. What will clue number 2 look like? And that is, check the last time they've made a change to your actual ad campaigns. Um, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the first clue, where you can actually, as the account owner, you have the ability to check and see when the last time they actually logged in any changes to your ad campaigns. And if your ad campaigns are being optimized on a bi-daily basis, which they're supposed to at least be looked at, once every 48 hours, if anything, right? You'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see that history. And Saad, I think this is a good time to maybe share your screen and actually let the viewers know exactly how they can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And sorry, if you can just make me host, then I'll do that.
Rookie mistake. Hold on. Oh, it says you're allowed to share. Oh, there you go.
Gotcha. Perfect. So let's just log into some accounts that I've got pulled up over here. On the Google AdWords front, you guys can basically see if they've made any changes by simply logging into your ads manager or campaign manager, whatever you'd like to call it. And then right down here, you'll be able to see change history. And then this is where on Google AdWords, you can see throughout all of your campaigns exactly what they're doing, if they're doing anything, okay? The dates are there, the exact changes are there, and you can see if they're active and they're actually doing the work that they had promised. On the other hand, on Facebook ads, you can kind of just select the campaigns that are relevant, click on edit, and then you're going to be able to see history once again. Same thing, this will tell you if they're actually making changes and are active in the ad account. Make sense?
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. I think it's a really cool trick that a lot of just companies just don't know about, right? A lot of times they kind of just hand over all the information to the ad accounts, but they have no idea what's actually going on in there. So hopefully that helps a little bit. So let's move on. So clue number 3 to see if you might be getting ripped off by your marketing agency is see if your ad dollars are actually being wasted on ads that are clearly not working. And what I mean by this is, for you to be optimizing your campaigns, a lot of times you'll put up ads that are just not working, or even full campaigns that are simply not working. And you can see that through the numbers within the tracking. And if you see that it's just burning money and there's no conversions or no sales coming from it, then it's a clear-cut sign that, hey, maybe you should just turn it off and focus on the ads that are working. Saad, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, that's like rule number 1 when it comes to advertising. It's just, hey, spend money where you're getting a return. In fact, I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to share my screen once again and kind of go over what that looks like. So this is an ad account that I've got pulled up over here. If we go under maximum, we'll be able to really see which ads are producing results versus the ones that are not. So we've got the top ones over here. Rule number 1 is track everything. So if your agency, this is taking in granted that they are tracking to the penny how much you're spending and how much you're making back. So we've got ads here that we've spent $2.77 on, and we've turned that into $60 sales, right? Or like much, much larger numbers as well. Once we go increase the ad spend, like 332. This is just one ad, guys, by the way, out of how many? We've got 714 running. So this is another ad, 200 or 334, 332 spent, 1,000 back. Those are the ads that you continue running. You continue spending that $5, $10 a day. You send out those money soldiers, they come back with more money. Versus the ones that are not working, you just turn them off. So let me show you some of the losers here. 131 spent for 125 back. We're never going to spend another dime on this particular ad again. So rule number 1 is you got to track to know what's working and what's not. And then obviously turn off. We've heard of stories where the agency just stopped checking and money was bleeding day over day. Like $5 a day times 100 ads can add up, right? If they're not producing revenue back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear cut. That's really great that you showed an example as well.
Mhm.
So you guys can easily do that as well. Just go into your Facebook ads manager and just take a look at what ads down to the ad level, which ads are actually working relative to how much you're spending on them, relative to how much it's getting you back in terms of output, your money back. So, and if you see a big discrepancy there where you're spending more money on the ad itself and you're getting a lot less back, then it's a clear sign. You could just shut that down. And if they're not looking at that, and if they haven't looked at that for a while, and if there's a lot of them doing that, if there's a lot of ads doing that, then also that might be a sign that they're not really doing their jobs properly. So clue number 4, the details are in the tracking. So if your agency can't tell you to the penny how much your lead is costing, or how much it's costing you to acquire a new customer, then again, they're not doing their job. Then maybe it's time to move on. And Saad, how would you be able to look at this from a more technical perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've heard of agency owners. Let me go ahead and share my screen once again. So once again, like what I shared originally, like you can literally see amount spent and what you're getting back if they're tracking. If they're not tracking things like that, like first of all, they can't even do their own job properly because you can't tell which ads are working and which ones are not. On the other hand, we've seen agency owners track and report the wrong things. Like they'll say things like, hey, your cost per click is only 50 cents, or your CPMs are only $9, and you're reaching hundreds of thousands of people for $200, and it looks good on paper, but that doesn't mean that you're actually getting customers and making a return on your ad spend. Like, for example, here's an ad account where we're spending, let's go back here, overview. Here's an ad account of a client that's very happy. They sell something that's in almost thousands of dollars, and they're getting booked appointments for less than $50. And their cost per click is $7. To another agency, they basically would try to optimize and get the cost per click lower. They'll be like, hey, look, your cost per click is 50 cents, but your cost per conversion may be like $200. Or maybe the conversions are on quality clients. So really, first of all, it's tracking to the penny, but most importantly, tracking the right thing. At the end of the day, it's all about how much dollars am I putting in and how much dollars am I getting back out. And that's basically all marketing is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such an important point that you brought up, where I think people are obsessed with the wrong metrics sometimes, like cost per
Mhm.
click or cost per impression. And company or business owners don't really know the difference. When they hear like, oh, cost per click for 50 cents, like, yeah, that's fine and dandy, but really, how much is it for you to actually acquire that new customer, which is really the main metric you should be looking at, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's a lot of trickery sometimes where they're kind of showing you the wrong metrics just to kind of win you over. But okay, let's move on. So the last one is kind of a bonus clue, and this should be pretty straightforward. If you guys, this is like basic stuff, and that is basically, if your ads are going to your website homepage, then Houston, we have a big problem. Saad, do you want to explain why that's a problem?
Yeah, so it's just being like that's just the marketers being lazy. Bottom line, homepages are made to look good and explain your company, but they're not made to do the one thing that they're supposed to do, which is whatever your sales process is. It may be, hey, traffic into lead, into a phone call, into a close, or it may be traffic into direct sale. The homepage is not really meant to do that, right? So if you're sending traffic, there's so much leakage. You would never be able to scale to big numbers. Like, once again, I'll explain this with another ad account. Like, here's one where we're spending a lot of money. Like last month, we spent nearly $121,000 in ad spend. in order to spend this kind of money, you got to really dial down and make sure that there's no leakage. And I can assure you, none of this traffic is going to the homepage. It's going to a very specific page that's meant to do one thing and one thing only, is move that traffic to the next step, whether that's directly a purchase or submit a lead form or schedule a call, whatever it may be, but it's meant to do only that. The homepage, on the other hand, is meant to show a little bit about your company. There's an about us page, probably. There's a contact us. There's just too much. It's going to cause leakage. And yes, you can get away with it by spending $500 or $1,000 a month and still get a return. But as you start scaling the numbers up and you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, or maybe even millions like we have on some ad accounts like this one, 2.5, you got to have no leakage. All the traffic goes to a specific page that's really built to do just that one thing, is move the needle on your business and in the sales process, and that's it. Does that make sense, Roar?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I was wondering, do you think you can pull up an actual example maybe from one of our funnels where they have an idea as like, okay, hey, this ad is actually going to a specific landing page rather than a website. Do you think you could pull that up on the fly? Or
Yeah, sure. Why not? So, I mean, we've got access to a bunch of ad accounts. Perhaps I'll look into one of our smaller ones that may be more relevant. So this is a local business that we've got, and they're getting phenomenal results. And let's go to actually one of their ads. So you'll notice here that this is actually a food business, believe it or not. And then as soon as people click on shop now, they're directed directly to the product listing, not to the homepage, but to the product listing. And this listing is one job only, to get somebody to buy right away. And then we've got like super special tactics going on over here, like urgency and scarcity, like, hey, this offer is going to run out. So we're doing everything that we can to get this person that was scrolling on Facebook or on Instagram or on Google to, now that they've clicked, how do we actually provide enough incentive to get them to make a purchasing decision now, instead of forgetting about you ultimately and going with another company, right? So directly to the product listing in this case, and it really helps get the cost per sale or cost per conversion down and eliminate wastage.
yeah, and I mean, if you read that, it says this is a one-time offer that is not available anywhere else on our site. And from what I understand, we set that up just for the ad, for the landing page for the ad, correct? And you can't even see it on their actual home, on their own website.
Absolutely. So yeah, this page is unique for ads only, this link. So if somebody tried to go on here and like order like 5 meals or whatever it may be, they wouldn't see the same offer.
That just disappears. Yeah.
It just disappears. Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, great. Saad, thank you so much for doing this. And hopefully we can do a lot more. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, no problem. We'll do it again soon. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right, no problem. And yeah, I guess like and subscribe if you like this content. And we'll see you guys later. All right, take care. Bye-bye.